Chapter 159 to 162. Shogo Farjh. Shogo falls to his knees, clutching his missing arm with his other more intact arm. Kirara, Shogo. Kyoya, you bastard. Kirara shouted out in shock. Shogo specializes in the physical aspect, including defense. Looking at the clean sever sent shivers down her spine. Kyoya was looking at Benimaru with feigned anger on his face, making it seem he cares for Shogo. He actually doesn't give a shit about him. Kyoya, what was that? I didn't see him move. No, I must have blinked at that moment. Yeah. There's no way I couldn't track his blade even with my all-seeing eye. Benimaru's eyes widen slightly as he looks down at Shogo. Benimaru, you dodged that? I was going for your neck. Benimaru isn't one to toy with his prey and would prefer to instantly kill the opponent, especially after some lessons he took under his master. Those lessons were actually Rimuru just complaining about why some main characters leave their opponent alive, risking a power-up scene when they could just kill them and be done with it. Benimaru saw the reason in his words and took it to heart, although he would believe Rimuru even if he said the sky was green. Because of he immediately tried to kill Shogo, but out of pure instinct, Shogo was able to move his body out of the way. He still lost his arm though. Benimaru's surprise doesn't last as Benimaru walks towards the trembling Shogo as he shuffles backwards on the ground, clutching his still bleeding arm with beads of sweat pouring down his forehead. Shogo, no. I was wrong, alright? I'll leave. I won't come back. Please. Please. His plea turned into a squeal at the end as Benimaru continues approaching. Benimaru, I won't wait. Although our master discourages conflicts with humans due to his past, he won't show any mercy to any who oppose him. He slowly unsheathes his blade. Benimaru, and neither will I. He slashes his blade horizontally, sending it arcing towards Shogo's neck. Without bothering to dodge it, Shogo just continues to beg for his life. Shogo, wait. Kirara, stop. A wave of magicules rushes over Benimaru, causing him to freeze in place just as the edge of his blade touches his neck, drawing a single drop of blood. Shogo, hi. Benimaru strains his body, attempting to shift his body even the slightest inch, but the only thing he could move was his eyes. He could remove this restraint instantly by flaring his magicules and breaking out in under a second, but he decided not to and hide his strength. In any case, he has a backup plan in case things take a turn for the worse. Kirara's fear begins to lessen as more confidence fills within her. A small smile spreads on her lips. Kirara, ha. Ahaha. So even you can't resist my, bewilder, unique skill. Ahahaha. Kirara laughs at that realization. She doesn't have anything to fear. She just has to say a few words while invoking her skill and everyone will follow. She stares at Benimaru with a glint in her eyes. She opens her mouth. Kirara, die. But contrary to everyone's expectations, nothing happened. Kirara. Why? Why aren't you dying? Benimaru, that would be my backup plan. Benimaru says with a smile as if everything was under his control. It wasn't, but only he knows that. And said backup plan makes her presence known. Shuna, brother, I will say this again, but I disapprove of this plan. Shuna walks up from behind the petrified Benimaru with her shrine maiden sleeves covering her small mouth like always. Benimaru, what? I know you had my back. Shuna, Benimaru, now, can you help me? Shuna, help yourself. Benimaru, GUH. While they have a little banter with each other, Kirara and Kyoya are still processing what just happened. Shogo is still too panicked to realize what just happened, and the Reincarnator is still looking at this whole scene with a relaxed smile on his face, although when he looks at Shuna, he licks his lips. Kirara glares at the pink-haired newcomer. Kirara, what? How? Shuna, well, our master has a habit of making many odd items, ranging from a tea kettle that brews tea that tastes like meat buns to an invisibility cloak. Shuna takes out a small booklet from her sleeve. It's about the size of her hand. The cover is made of black leather and has the words, "The Cheat Sheet," written on its cover in white. She opens the book and flips through a few pages. The pages were blank, but before long, words started to appear. Shuna, let's see. Bewilder. A unique skill that directly sends commands to the target's brains through your voice, allowing you to forcibly control them. Quite a useful skill. Shuna closes the book with closed eyes and a blank smile that you would find on McDonald's employees. Kirara, ha. How? Shuna, I told you, our master likes to make many items on a whim. Most of the time, he graciously bestows them to his subordinates. Her eyes turned into one of a fanatic while she was talking, slightly scaring Kirara. In reality, Rimuru made those items for fun but eventually got bored and gave them away. Sometimes, he hides random useful items in small shops for the random protagonist to arrive and pick up like a sword that grows stronger alongside its wielder the more things it kills. Shuna, when you foolishly mentioned your unique skill, it allowed me to find out its effects and make a countermeasure. All I had to do was block your voice from reaching my brother, and your skill was rendered useless. Shuna forms a cute smile on her face as she tilts her head while mercilessly shattering Kirara's confidence. Kirara grits her teeth together before an idea pops into her head. Kirara, then, you can go ahead and die, you fucking monster. Since Shuna was conversing with me, obviously she could hear me, is what was running through Kirara's mind. But obviously, Shuna won't make such a rookie mistake. Shuna, unfortunate. That won't work. Shuna blocked her hearing with magic just like Benimaru and instead used magic sense and her unique skill, analyst, to interpret what Kirara was saying. Shuna, now then. Brother, how long do you want me to stall for you? This causes Kirara and Kyoya to flinch. Kirara/Kyoya, what? They were just stalling. Benimaru, I was waiting for you to finish. With those words, a red blur flashes past Shuna. A silver streak arcs towards Shogo's neck once more but this time. Shing! It connected. Shogo's head went flying through the air as his body dropped to the floor. Dead. This was part of the plan they made. Benimaru volunteered himself to test all the intruders and to reveal their hidden cards. There was a chance he would die, but it was a risk he didn't want anyone else to take. Everyone, especially Shuna, protested, but he was adamant about it. Instead, it was decided that a few would follow him under stealth and if necessary, they would assist Benimaru should he be in trouble, hence the backup plan. Who knew that they were weaker than expected? Sure, Kirara's bewilder skill caught him off guard, but judging by Shogo's poor performance, you can tell that they have never gone into a life or death battle before. Benimaru flicks his blade, shaking all the blood off it before sheathing it again. Benimaru, tch, I should have just burned his body. Whoosh! A white blur appears behind Kirara. A similar silver flash arcs towards her neck. Clash! However, the blade was halted by another sword held by Kyoya. Kirara, Kaya. Hakuru, huh. And I made sure to hide my presence until the last moment. Hakuru backs off and sheaths his blade again. Although he was standing casually, his hand resting on the handle of his blade was ready to pull out his weapon and retaliate at a moment's notice. Kyoya, ha. You're slow as hell, old man. Although he said that, Kyoya was barely able to react. He can't let Kirara die just yet. She could be useful, even as bait. Hakuru and Kyoya stand there, facing each other with both their weapons in hand. Kyoya's weapon is a long sword unsheathed, raised and pointed towards the older Kijin. Hakuru's weapon is a hidden sword that looks like a normal stick, or a wooden rod that's perfect for beating Rimuru when he fucks up, cough. Its blade is sheathed and ready to be revealed at a moment's notice. Shogo is already dead on the floor and Kirara can't do anything with Shuna there, so it's just those two. Kyoya is shit-talking Shogo in his mind, thinking about how useless he is to die so quickly. Kyoya, useless. All of you. How the hell did you get killed so easily? You're supposed to be stronger and faster than me, right? And you also have your Berserker skill which gives you higher defense. The fact that he also couldn't track Benimaru's blade even with his visual boosting extra skill, all-seeing eye, never entered his overly inflated mind. Hakuru, are you done? Shall we continue now? Kyoya, shut up old man. Against you, I don't need to pay full attention. Hakuru, huh. You're looking down on me quite a bit. You know, my favorite thing to do is show those with overblown egos is to show them their rightful place. On the dirt. Kyoya, yeah. You wouldn't be talking about me, would you? Hakuru, if you can't even tell that much, I guess your mind really is dash. Bang! Kyoya swung his other empty hand towards Hakuru in the middle of the conversation. An invisible blade flew from his hand straight towards Hakuru, hitting him instantly and causing the dust to rise in the area. Although they are over a dozen meters from each other, Kyoya's unique skill, severer, allows him to create an invisible blade made with the space element that contains extreme sharpness and speed. The blade reached Hakuru near instantly. Kyoya, ha ha ha. That old fool fell for it. My, severer, unique skill can cut through anything. Kyoya laughs to himself with a sadistic smile on his face, reveling in his own victory and completely forgetting the presence of Benimaru and Shuna. A fucking idiotic mistake, since he would have died immediately by either one before Kirara could even say anything. Well, neither Benimaru and Shuna moved though. The reason is simple. They didn't need to. Hakuru, humph. So such tiresome tricks are also a part of your arsenal. Kyoya, nanny. The dust settles down, revealing a completely uninjured Hakuru casually dusting off his shoulder. Kyoya soon noticed that he also didn't even move an inch from his spot, nor did he even unsheath his blade. Kyoya, what the hell did you do, old man? Hakuru, You don't know. Well, then I guess you're only a second-rate swordsman at best. Hakuru's expectations for Kyoya continue to fall more and more, and Kyoya realizes this. Kyoya. What did you just say? Kyoya's voice trembles with rage as he grips his longsword. Hakuru, I said, second-rate. You see, what I did was simple. I dodged. Kyoya, dodged? Hakuru, yes. Dodged. I leaned to the side a bit and your invisible weapon just flew straight past me. Like I said, if you didn't even realize that, you're only a second-rate swordsman at best. Hakuru was implying that Kyoya might as well be third-rate, let alone second-rate. As for being able to sense and dodge an invisible weapon, well. Hakuru was named by Rimuru, who holds the crest of space, an authority and affinity over space itself. Severer's created blades are made with the space element, so sensing it is quite simple for him. Kyoya, don't mess with me, you senile piece of shit. Kyoya's face was scrunched up in an ugly way as his pride took verbal hit after hit from the old Kijin. Creating another invisible blade with severer, he discards the long sword that is nothing more than a decoration to him and rushes towards Hakuru. He swings it again and again at Hakuru, but he continues to sway left and right, dodging every attack made by Kyoya, barely needing a step each time to do so. Despite how it looks, Kyoya is actually quite the talented swordsman. With his all-seeing eye and severer skills, he can compete for the title of the best swordsman in Farmus, although he believes he's the best in the entire Western nations, including Hinata. Kyoya, you shitty old man. Kyoya screams while swinging his invisible blade with wide, reckless arcs. He swings it in an overhead strike towards Hakuru, who just steps to the side, causing Kyoya to stumble forward a few steps from the momentum. Bonk. Hakuru lightly taps his sheathed weapon on the back of Kyoya's head as he passes him. Kyoya, fucking old man. Stop dodging. Shuna, I wouldn't do that, Hakuru. The blades made with his severer are incredibly sharp. Kyoya snaps his head in the pink-haired Kijin's direction, wondering how she knew. He was planning to bait the old Kijin into taking an attack of his and hopefully killing him by cutting through his weapon. What he sees made his blood pressure rise even more. He sees Shuna casually reading her cheat sheet book given by Rimuru. Kyoya, you bitch. Stop. Shuna, and why should I? Stupid human, you shouldn't have mentioned your skills so casually. Didn't you learn your lesson from your dead comrade? Shuna says as she snaps the book shut with an innocent smile on her face. This causes more veins to pop on Kyoya's head. Later. You can see Kyoya standing facing Hakuru like in the beginning, but this time, he's an absolute mess. He's drenched in sweat, his eyes are bloodshot from overusing his all-seeing eye, and his hands are trembling from exhaustion. Meanwhile, Hakuru's breathing hasn't even changed a single bit. Kyoya, why couldn't I hit you? He honestly could comprehend it. He's the best, right? So how can someone do this? Hakuru just stays silent, his eyes that are looking at him show nothing but disappointment and contempt. It was as if he was saying, you are not a swordsman. And that hurt him. But even so, he refused to admit that he was weaker. Kyoya. Ah, I see now. Aha, ha ha ha. Ah ha ha. I get it now. It's this place, isn't it? This shitty place. It's making me weaker, isn't it? You thought I wouldn't realize, did you? But no, I found your little trick. Ha 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 ha. No wonder I was getting this sick feeling. And so he started to blame the mirror dimension. Hakuru. Perhaps. I'm not the creator of this realm, so I wouldn't know. Perhaps our master did indeed include such a feature. But, I must ask you this. Hakuru's eyes that are looking at Kyoya become sharp. Kyoya realized it at this point. Hakuru was going to end it in this strike. Hakuru, this sick feeling. Are you sure it's not fear? Kyoya's mind stopped. Afraid? Him. Impossible. Kyoya, you fucking old Mayan. Raising his, severer, blade over his head, he rushes towards Hakuru. With a white blur, the old Kijin disappeared. Kyoya, where did that old man go? Why is my vision turning upside down? Is that my body? Those were the last words going through Kyoya's mind as his head flew off his shoulders. Even to the end, Kyoya never admitted to his weakness. Hakuru, Benimaru, and Shuna all turned towards the remaining otherworlder. Kirara, hi. She drops to her knees while raising her hands in surrender, hoping against hope that these monsters knew mercy. She closes her eyes as tears threaten to spill out. Shing. Thinking that was the sound of the blade passing through her neck as with her two other companions, she stopped breathing. Before realizing that she could still think. Opening one eye, she sees the old Kijin resheathing his blade. Click. Lowering her hands, she sees some magisteel cuffs on them, inscribed with softly glowing runes that mysteriously prevented her from feeling her magicules. Turning around, she sees Shuna standing next to her, smiling while looking down at her. It was a smile that said, "Don't try anything, bitch." Not that she would in this situation. Clap, 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 clap. The Reincarnator does that slow clap thing that people do for suspense. Bravo. Well done. A very clean strike. Benimaru turns towards the figure and raises his blade towards him, on guard for any movement. There's not much you can see about this figure. He's wearing entirely black and is covered with a large black cloak that reaches the floor. The hood of his cloak covers the top half of his face, revealing only his nose and mouth, which are turned up in a smile. Even magic sense can't sense how he looks like. It's not like the cloak is enchanted, it's just bullshit anime logic. It's like he's married to the color black, geez. His clapping hands are not covered with any gloves or gauntlets which reveal his pale skin and thin fingers which look like they are from a girl. But his voice is that of a male, around their teenage years to be exact. Other than his creepy aura about him, that's all you can see about him. It's creepy in the way that he feels dangerous, yet you can't sense anything about him. Exactly like the otherworlders felt towards Benimaru, except their instincts haven't been attuned enough to be able to sense the danger Benimaru posed. The figure lowers his hands and places them on his hips. Come on, don't look at me like that. You look like I just killed your favorite dog. Ahaha. Benimaru didn't let his guard down. This guy is different from the otherworlders that were just killed. Benimaru, turn around and leave. The figure opens his arms and looks around. Hey, I can leave this place. I'm trapped here in this mirror dimension, or whatever you called it. It's a pretty cool place though. Benimaru, you'll return back to reality after a certain distance, so I'll say this again. Leave. Hee hee. How about? No. Instead, let me make you an offer. Benimaru tightens his grip on his weapon and Hakuru slowly lowers his body, ready to attack or retreat at a moment's notice. Shuna's magicules flow within her body, ready to be unleashed at a moment's notice. Meanwhile, Kirara shuffles away from Shuna a bit. She's scared of her. Leave your master and serve me. Crack bang. Within an instant Benimaru pushes off the ground, cracking the floor, appearing directly in front of the black figure with nothing but pure speed. He swings his blade at the figure with both hands as rage flashes through his eyes. Even the mere suggestion of betraying Rimuru is enough to send any of his subordinates into a fit of rage and start a crusade to hunt down whichever son of a bitch said that. Leave your master and serve me successfully pushed the wrong buttons on not just Benimaru, but Hakuru, Shuna, and everyone else listening, not Kirara. The figure barely even reacted, seeming as if he didn't even realize Benimaru moved from his spot. Benimaru's weapon flew straight towards his shoulder, looking to bisect him diagonally. But the moment the sharp edge of his weapon touched the figure's clothes. Bang! Benimaru was sent flying back with speed equal to when he rushed forwards. He was sent crashing into several trees, breaking them all. Is that you, Kakyoin? Shuna, brother. With panicked eyes, she looks towards the direction Benimaru disappeared into with worry on her face. Unfortunately, she can't just turn around and run towards him, as that would just be begging to be attacked from behind. Geez, I just said a sentence, no need to get so worked up. Ahaha. With a carefree smile, he raises his hand towards the side. Clang. Grabbing Hakuru's sword, he looks towards the old Kijin who sneak attacked him from his left. The same offer goes to you and the pretty girl with the horns. How about it? Hakuru, I refuse. I'd much prefer my current master. Shuna, I really hate you. With those words, Hakuru lets go of his sword and rush closer for hand-to-hand combat while Shuna prepares some magic spells to support him. But... bang! A white version of Kakyoin comes flying past Shuna in the exact same direction Benimaru disappeared into. Benimaru asterisk in the distance asterisk ow. Hakuru asterisk in the distance asterisk sorry. Well, at least Shuna knows they are okay, even if they seem to be indisposed at the moment. The blood leaking from their mouth as they flew back was a good indicator. Meanwhile, Kirara is looking at the black figure with a "couldn't you have done that sooner" face. You guys are way too feisty. Well, not that I mind, aha. He then raises his hand over behind his head. Clang. And catches a big fucking sword. The wind bursts from the pressure and the ground cracks underneath his feet. At the end of the sword, you can see a purple-haired busty Kijin glaring at the figure. It's Cheyenne. Nice. The figure says as he stares at her chest, which did nothing but increases her loathing for him. Only Rimuru is allowed to stare at her chest like that. Cheyenne jumps back just as the figure was going to try and act cool and crush her sword. His smile falters a bit from the epic fail, but he didn't have time to worry as wires appear out of nowhere and tie themselves around his wrists and ankles and hoist him up into the air in a spread-out pose. Behind him, you can see Soai pulling on the strings appearing from his fingertips. Immediately after, a rain of fireballs, wind blades, and water balls hit the figure non-stop for several seconds, completely obscuring his figure. You can see two new figures standing beside Shuna. A green-haired dryad, who is standing in a JoJo pose, and a black cat. Trainee and Shizu. Trainee summoned a wind spirit to fire off the wind blades, Shizu used her innate control over fire to make a fireball bombardment, and Shuna used magic to hail water balls on him. Trust me, the water was the most damaging of them all. Shuna is very angry. The bombardment stops after a whole minute, but that's not the end. During all this, a dark cloud crackling with white lightning gathers above the immobilized figure high in the skies. Boom! As soon as the bombardment stopped, a thick bolt of lightning fell from the sky. It's as if Thor took a giant shit. And that shit fell directly on the black figure. It also kicked up a fuck ton of dust. Mikoto reveals herself with Pikachu on her shoulder, both of them are sparking with blue and yellow electricity respectively as they stand next to Cheyenne. Mikoto. Pikachu. Soai. Shuna. Shizu. Trainee. Cheyenne. Is he dash? Mikoto, don't say it. Cheyenne, oh, right. Mikoto. Pikachu. Soai. Shuna. Shizu. Trainee. Cheyenne. TCH. And here I was waiting for one of you to say, is he dead, only for me to reveal myself in a cool way. The dust decides to settle at this exact moment, revealing a completely unharmed man, dusting off his shoulder. He looks around and finally his eyes fall on Mikoto. Ah, you're finally here, my heroine. You're just as beautiful as I remember. Mikoto. Although she didn't say anything, Mikoto's face is warped in a way that says, what the fuck is this guy talking about? The plan was for Benimaru to draw out any hidden card the invaders had. If necessary, he would receive help from anyone else hidden nearby as a backup plan. Once their combat potentials have been properly gauged, everyone would reveal themselves and gangbang them. That was the plan. It all went according to that plan for the first three Otherworlders. Benimaru was caught off guard by Kirara's bewilder, so Shuna revealed herself and supported him. As for how they all hid, Shuna is a master of magic spells and has a high magicule regeneration rate. Under the teachings of Rimuru, who answered any questions she had about runes, she became nearly unrivaled in the theoretical knowledge of magic spells. An invisibility spell with support from a couple of random, junk items, Rimuru made out of boredom that can hide from the senses of high-leveled opponents is child play. It also helps that none of the Otherworlders bothered to train their perception skills, so even the mysterious Reincarnator only sensed that something was a bit off. Once Benimaru got in a bit of a pinch, Shuna simply removed the spell from herself, and, you know the rest. The backup plan also included Hakuru, Cheyenne, Soai, Trainee, Shizu, Pikachu and Mikoto. Everyone else is in Avalon in case something happens. Oh, and a bit of side information, Trainee wasn't in the meeting discussing the plans a few days ago because she was busy moving her bar from her original spot to the top of a recently built skyscraper. She still listened and threw some plants though. Anyway, the reincarnator continued to monologue about slightly cringy shit that I, the author, can't be bothered writing lest I throw up in my mouth. Something about everyone being a sushi baka or something. Ahaha. You know what I'm saying. Everyone underscore. Ahaha. Well, there's that. I'm guessing none of you guys wants to serve under me, but that's okay. I know you guys are just cautious of your boss getting back at me for taking his underlings. But don't worry. I'm pretty strong. Ahaha. At this point, even Cheyenne couldn't get angry. I mean, getting angry at a mentally disabled person is just a waste of effort. All of their obvious inner thoughts just flew over the mysterious reincarnator's head as he continues talking without a care in the world, mostly towards Mikoto. He also pays a bit of attention to the other females but he completely ignores the males. Hey, what's your name? I just realized that I love you, but I don't even know your name yet. Ahaha. Mikoto. At this moment, Mikoto realized how considerate Rimuru was. Sure, Rimuru was a bit pushy with getting her to carry him around in his slime form, or lap pillows, or even sleeping together, but he always made sure that she was comfortable with it. She was embarrassed, sure, but never uncomfortable with his advances. She even learned to enjoy his advances, although hell would freeze over before she admitted that. But this guy barely knows anything about her, but he casually spouts out words like, I love you, without a second thought. She shudders at the mere thought of spending more time with this inconsiderate guy. Mikoto, a bit rude to ask my name without mentioning yours. As much as she would like to smite his ass right now, information is more important. He immediately knocked out Hakuru and Benimaru, getting him to leave without a fight would be the best option. Ahaha. True. I normally don't mention my name but since it's you that asked, I'll say it. He says with a wink. Not that anyone could see since his cloak hood covers the top half of his face including his eyes. My name is... Insert dramatic pause that lasts for 7 seconds. Bryce. A dumb fucking name. I'm joking, Bryce is a good name. I have a friend named Bryce. So any person named Bryce who is good at hacking, please leave my hentai collection alone. A reader suggested this name and I haven't thought up a name for him yet, so here it is. Sorry, I forgot their name so no shout out. Mikoto, okay then. Bryce dash. Bryce, say my name again. A look of pure confusion forms on Mikoto's face. Although it won't hurt to say his name again, somehow, she doesn't want to. Mikoto. Can you leave? Bryce, well, since you're the one saying it, then I guess I will. But I have a condition. A bad feeling sprouts within Mikoto. Mikoto. What's the condition? But she asked anyway. The figure grins. Bryce, become mine. Spark. Mikoto. Ha. Bryce, become mine. You know, become my lover, my girlfriend, wife, or whatever. Become my heroine. Mikoto didn't say anything. But you can see arcs of bluish-white electricity spark between her fingertips. Bryce, I've been in love with you since the moment I laid my eyes on you. I've been watching you ever since. I've wanted to meet you for the longest time. But... For once, Bryce lost his smile. Bryce, that fucking slime. He keeps getting close to you even though you hate it. He always gets so touchy with him, why girl? After taking a couple of deep breaths, his smile returns. Bryce, so I just decided to get rid of him. Then I can finally be with you. It felt like time froze at this moment. You can't see Mikoto's eyes as they are covered by her bangs as she looks towards the floor. The temperature didn't change, but everyone felt a chill run down their spine. Well, everyone except the ignorant Bryce. Bryce, but I don't see him here, so I guess he's hiding somewhere like the coward he is. I mean, he's nowhere near my power level, so it's understandable. I'll kill him painfully, unless he decides to change his preferred gender. If he becomes my woman, I guess I wouldn't mind accepting him. He does have quite a pretty face after all. Magicules flow into Mikoto's Gakoda bracelet on her wrist. A black and white metal coin with a meat bun symbol materializes and falls into Mikoto's hand. It's the special meat bun coin that can boost Mikoto's railgun attack by several times over. Mikoto. Mikoto Misaka. Mikoto mutters, her words barely reaching Bryce's ears. Bryce, yeah. Mikoto. That's my name. Mikoto's voice barely reaches a whisper. Bryce, Mikoto, huh? Such a beautiful name. Mikoto, yeah. It's the name of the person that will kill you. Raising her arm that is arcing with concentrated electricity with a coin loaded on her finger and thumb, a look of anger and rage is written on her face. She flicks her thumb. Thaium. The coin screeches as it pierces the air at high speeds and at superheated temperatures. A bright orange beam of energy leaves Mikoto's fingers and shoot right towards Bryce. The wind pressure from the rapidly expanding heated air caused a rush of wind to blow over everyone. The beam of energy that's the size of Mikoto's upper torso reaches its target at record speeds of barely a few milliseconds. Even for Bryce with the physique of a true dragon, dodging such an attack without any preparation is impossible. Boom! Dust covers the area. Even so, none believed it was over for even the slightest moment. The ominous magicules flowing from within the dust cloud prevented that. Bryce. So no head. Crack. Bryce throws the coin he caught in his hands to the ground, cracking the floor and blowing the dust away. Bryce, R.E.E. Name, Rimuru. Race, Origin Slime. Protection, Crest of Space. Title, Highest Tier Spirit, Leader of the Monsters, Oniai-chan, King of Avalon, Master of Headpats, Procrastinator King, The Nutcracker, Socially Awkward Cringe Slightly Chuyuni Slime, Dragon Slayer, Sensei. Manus, Iliasville. Ultimate Skills, Belzebuth, Lord of Gluttony, Ahura Mazda, Lord of Creation, Scathach, Lord of Runes. Unique Skills, Spatial Ruler. Intrinsic Skills, Infinite Regeneration, Universal Shapeshift, Universal Sense, Enhanced Replication, Universal Thread. Extra Skills, Lord's Ambition, Thought Communication, Control Natural Elements, Control Magic, Control Gravity. Resistances, Cancel Pain, Resist Melee Attack, Cancel Natural Elements, Cancel Ailments, Cancel Spiritual Attack, Resist Holy/Demonic Attack, Natural Attack Resistance. Equipment, Yamato, Limiter Ring. If you want to support me, check out my Patreon at https://www.patreon.com/kaishin. I tend to polls that decide important plot stuff in my Patreon. Many thanks to my awesome patrons. Ben Phillips. Yamatancho. Taco TSK. Yuki. Search 1301. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be here until next time.